Yes, sir. Another day, another dollar. And I'll be back at it again with another video. So, I was a little bit late on this, but I already made the video already. This is probably, yeah, I've worked on it yesterday. I was too lazy to record, but I did record some things. So, I'll tell you guys a little rough what I did. So, I did a timing belt and water pump for this, and then I had to redo it because the water pump was defective. And my dad, I should have put the damn new timing belt tensioner at that time, so I didn't. I put the stock back on, so the belt got loose, and then I had to redo everything, and the pulley of the water pump kind of broke. Car engine's fine, everything's fine. I caught it just in time, so you will see the video now. Right, I just came back. My phone was about to die, so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm recording on my phone. Got the tensioner. Just in case, let me keep the receipt because you never know. Trying to do this one hand here. Got the tensioner. This tensioner looks very similar to the one I had when I did the timing belt. My dad said, "Oh yeah, I don't need it." So I listened to him, and I wish I never did listen to him because now I need it. So $100 down the drain. Just good luck. Don't want to spend the money, not one bit. I want it to work, but at the end of the day, it's for a good cause. So everything is on top dead center. I did not take off the belt, so everything is good. I tighten up the pulley right there. That pulley right there, I tighten up. You have to make sure those two holes are facing up. All right, so now what I have to do is, I had to take off those two bolts right there. I had to take it off, and then from there, don't know where, oh, there it is. That's from there, I put it back on. Make sure you do not pull this pin until you actually 100% on, because if you do, then you got to go and get some C-clamp, clamp this back in and push it back in. Yes, it is a pain in the ass, so good luck if you do mess up the first time. So let me get it started, and you will see the process. I mean, the timing belt tensioner off, and you will see how bad it is. Right now I'm putting the seat clamp. So just by turning a little bit, just turn them out a little bit, look. I'm barely putting anything on here. The seat clamp came off, but yeah, the seat clamp came off. But I'm barely even turning it with any effort. But it's kind of hard to get in the camera a little bit, but yeah, it's very hard. But you just take my word for it. This thing is just really destroyed. When I did put the old one on, this one was kind of easy to push it in there anyway. So that was like the first thing I knew I should have said, just to throw this shit out, really, and just put the new one back on. So, oh well, let me stop talking. Right, and then I got the new one on. Don't pull that line yet. So now what I have to do is, I'm doing this with one hand here, is put the bolts in. There we go. So to avoid cross threading, make sure you screw it by hand first. Get a couple threads in there. All right. Now this is an impact ratchet, electric ratchet, whatever word you want to call it, but got this from Harbor Freight for about like 130 bucks with taxes. From New York, so it might be cheaper wherever you guys at, but I'll say one thing: best investment. All right, I'm doing this one hand here, so it's kind of hard to record and focus on what you're doing at the same time. So now everything is good, and before you pull that line, double check if it's on top that center. So one is right there. Now we're gonna go on the top, show you guys on top, and you see this line. So it's directly off of that pulley, and that line is on that that line is on that pulley, and it's directly on top. And then we go on this side too. It's kind of hard to see in camera. Yeah, it's very hard to see in camera, but just take my word for it. It's good. So now what I have to do is, what you have to do is pull this line here and pull that line, and 3, 2, 1. So now we pulled it and it's good now. So now what I have to do is take a 22 wrench, put it over here, and this right here on the crank, it has to go 2 rotations. So that's 2 rotations on the crank, because that's 1 rotation up on the cam. So if you know, you know. But so I'm gonna do that now, and then see you guys in a bit. All right, so I just did the 2 rotations off the crank, and that means it's 1 full rotation off for the motor. So I tighten up these bolts. I already pulled the pin off, as you can tell. So I just double checked everything. The belt is tight, everything is good. I just want to double check these bolts here, because you don't want these shits to come off, because if those shits come off, goodbye to your engine. And pretty much, yeah, so all I have to do really is just put back all the pieces back on, and I'll show you how to take off your timing belt and how to put everything back together. So pretty much, yeah. So alright, so now what you do is you put the little beauty panel back on, and then you get the one on the bottom, you put that one back on, and then you get the other cover that goes into there on this side. And that's about it. And then I'll show you the next step, and then you're gonna be putting this pulley back on. All right, so I got the pulley on. I guess you could say that's the pulley, but I got this on, and then so now what I had to do was just put the belts on. So the alternate belt is right there. That I knew I should have picked up a new one, but it is what it is. And then all I had to do is put the power steering belt on, and that's over there. But first, and I kind of forgot, I had to put that beauty cover back on. So wish me luck. Hopefully I don't have to take this shit back off again. So all right, so I got the beauty panels back on, or both of them. So I just had to do is tighten up those bolts. But the next step, what I have to go and do is A, I can go and put the motor mount back on, or B, I can put the pulley back on and put the belts. But in my case, I'm gonna be up here and putting the motor mount back on, because that's more important than anything else. So I'm gonna put the motor mount back on, and that is sitting right there. And then we got the bolt right here. So and then I'm gonna keep on recording, so you guys can see the process. And I'm gonna attempt to do this with one hand. All right. So I'm trying. Okay, I can't do this one hand. All right, so I got the motor mount back in. So sometimes you have to move the horn side motor over to the left. In my case, I had to, so I got the hammer. I stuck it down right here in this spot right there, and then I just moved it over. I'm hand tightening this bolt to go inside, and then hand tighten these. So the process to tighten up these without messing up your car, because Mitsubishi, you got to do something. You got to do stuff so precisely, so nothing won't go wrong. So the first thing you do, since you hand tighten this guy right here, you tighten up this bolt first. Then the second stuff off, when you tighten, don't tighten up these bolts, these nuts, because if you tighten it too much, yes, it will strip. So you tighten this one, because it's actually a bolt. You tighten up this one first, then you tighten up these nuts right here, and then you're properly set. Trust me, I already stripped bolts like on this already, because these thread patterns of Mitsubishi is so stupid. And good luck trying to find the thread pattern bolt of this car, because it's all Japanese. So that means that you got to go to specific stores to find it. So your traditional auto part store, good luck. If you have like the side, you know, like on a house, like the old automotive shop, you could say, if you go to them, then everything is good. Like this one store over here, it's called Calvin's. So, and then he has a lot of good parts, but then they have Japanese bolts for these, as in like you go to AutoZone, they ain't got shit, or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever store you go to. So, all right, so let me tighten up these things, and then I'll get back to you guys in a bit. All right, so I tightened up this bolt already. So now I might have tightened up the one in the middle. So now it's all good. It's all squeezed down tightly. It's right in the middle of it. If you tighten down this one first, you would have been stripping it, or eventually when you need to place it again, it will be stripped. So now, tighten up this, guys. All right, and then she's all good, all tightened down. And just to know, it's on the jack stand right now, supporting the motor. So when I get the jack stand off from the oil pan, you have to re-torque down these bolts because sometimes it will be a little bit loose. So you rather be safe than sorry. So just double check it. Take the jack off the oil pan, and hopefully you have the piece of wood there. Other than that, you would have been changing the oil pan. So pretty much, yeah. But I'm not gonna do that now. I'm gonna be putting on the belts and stuff like that, and then everything will be all good. And if anybody's asking why I have one of the panels off, the main reason why, because if you have all these panels on here, everybody is not gonna know. Nobody's not gonna know when your timing belt needs to be done. Like you guys would know 100,000 miles, but in this case, this belt. So my phone cut out. So like I was saying before, that the reason why, a long story short, the reason why I have this cover off to the timing belt, so I can know when to replace the timing belt. So the last time that I had to replace it, the old one, I saw a long strand of cord that was off, and if I had this cover on, I would have never known. So everybody always have the covers on. So, and if you guys know, it's every 100,000 miles, but sometimes the belt could last only 60,000 miles if you get a aftermarket belt. So if you go OEM, yeah, it probably might run past that recommendation, but usually a lot of people is not going to go to the dealer and get a timing belt, depending if you have like, at least definitely if you have like a German car, but they run timing chain, so that's besides the point. But but yeah, so that's the reason I have this cover off on this side. So anybody else, I recommend to do that. All right, so now I have to do is put on the power steering tensioner, and how you do that, yeah, I'll tell you guys how to do that. All right, so I'm gonna put on the light here. Boom, so you guys can see. So I put the nut in the washer on there so I don't have to lose it. This is the tensioner right there. So what you do is you will have it loosened up all the way. Take off this damn thing. Give me a second, give me a second. All right, take off this washer too. All right, there we go. So can't show you guys with one hand because this is a very pain part to do this, but pretty much long story short, so it's gonna be sitting like this, or it's gonna be sitting, well, this bolt is in the opposite one, that one's supposed to be there. So this bolt right here supposed to go inside that hole right there, and then this hole supposed to go and slide onto this, and you have this loose all the way, and then you will put that belt on there, and I'm gonna show you guys how to route the belt so you don't struggle putting it on. And you will see the power steering tensioner on now. All right, so I got the power steering tensioner on, and I loosen it all up. So now this is how you properly put the direction. I need two hands, so I'll show you without me actually doing it. So first thing it is, you got to put this belt over the power steering pump right there. Then from there, then you'll put it on the tensioner right there. So that is the way you supposed to do it. And then you do the same thing reverse. You take it off the tensioner, then you take it off of the power steering pump, and then obviously you take it off from right here. So right, so I got the power steering belt on. I also got the alternator belt on, and this is how you route it. So just to let you guys know, it's kind of easy. So it's kind of hard to explain, but you just wrap it. It's easy, but wrap the horn top belt around everything, and then you go under here. So this is the tension right here. So now what I have to do is tighten it, and it's a 14 mil, and I'm gonna show you how you know it's a proper tension of the belt too. So pretty much, long story short, when after you tighten all this, it's loose right here, but you're gonna twist this belt, and the time you can twist it like this, then it's good. But if you can keep on twisting it like I'm doing it right now, and you can twist it to do a 360, it's too loose. So that means you had to tighten it more. So, and now I'm gonna show you what's the proper tension after I do it. All right, so I just tightened the pulley here. So now, if you see how it is now, I have to change the belt, so that's why you see the little hairs on the side. So I'm just kind of running into the whenever, but so pretty much, right, you're going to turn it until you can't go further enough. That's pretty much vertical. After you could do that and you can't go further, then that's when it's good. If you tighten it to the point that you only can go like this, that means you tighten it too much, you had to unloosen it. So the same thing for this side too. It works for every single belt. I learned that online. I don't know what YouTuber, but I did learn that online. I did it, and everything is good. And so a little tip: if your car is already squeaking, like belt squeak, most of the chance is pretty much your belt is wear down too much, and then you have to tighten it. So that means is just to tighten. If you don't have the money for another belt, even though it's $10, but if don't know about your situations, so you just tighten it to, like, you know how I just set it like this, and then that squeak will go away. So yeah, so now all I had to do is do this side and the same thing, and then from there you see the rest what I have to do. All right, so I just lowered down the jack. So now what you're gonna do is double check these bolts. So we're gonna just retighten the same tightening pattern like I showed you. Start with this one, and we go with this one, and then we go with the two nuts right there. And then from there, I'm pretty much all set. I have nothing else. Oh, I forgot. I had to put that thing back on, that panel back on, and then the wheel, the best thing at the end. And then we started, and then we go vroom vroom. All right, so that's all right. So I just tightened up the power steering belt. So now what I had to do not forget about this job, because then if you forget, good luck for the bolt, and good luck for your belts that will pretty much be gone. So make sure you tighten up the bolt for the pulleys. Same thing for this one. Make sure you tightened it. There's one right there, and there's one right there. Make sure you tighten these. So, and then from there, the belt job is pretty much good. Right, so I just tightened up the bolts. These bolts was definitely needed to be tightened. I went like a little bit, like a half a turn more. So I definitely recommend, when you taking your jack off your motor, your oil pan, re-tighten up these bolts, because you do not want these to go loose. So, and if you don't listen to me, good luck later on. Then from there, I just had to put these bolts in. You start the one on the bottom first, because that's the one that's adjustable. You get that loose, then you would tighten up the one on top. Sorry, it was a bug that was kept on bothering me, so I had to pause the video. So now you go and tighten. You gonna put the bolt on the top, and then always do it hand tighten, because this is an old car. Old cars, you had to do something differently than new cars. If you do things like new cars, yes, you're going to end up breaking everything. All right, so let me just get this bolt in, and then I will come back. All right, and I'm back. So now you tighten up these bolts right here. It's a 17 millimeter. I'm assuming it is. No, it is not. I forgot. This is a 14 millimeter. So you scratch that. I'm getting my bolts mixed up. I'm gonna keep on recording. I probably might cut recording. Oh, there. Never mind. There's the 14 mil right here. Now I'm gonna tighten up the bolts. All right. I definitely recommend every mechanic buy this. Air tools is probably is kind of cool and all, but then you have to bring the whole entire big giant air compressor. Just buy yourself electric one. They have Snap-on, Milwaukee. Better than me personally, I think it's better than the air tools. But then again, the time the battery runs out, kind of screwed. But you buy 2 batteries and you lit. So now what I had to do is put that little thing here. I don't even know what to even call it, but you can say the what's this shit called? I had a brain fart. The coolant reservoir, that's what it's called. The coolant reservoir. Bracket, that's what that's called. So I had to fit those ones right in there. You got to get yourself a long extension, and I believe it's a 12 mil. So I can't do it with one hand, so you're just gonna see it on now. So now I got this bracket on. Yes, it's dirty. So then you hit this guy back on, and then you push it. And while you're under here, make sure you check your fluids when it's flat. So I already filled up the power steering, a little bit overfilled, but I do have a power steering leak. Brake fluid probably needs a little bit more, so I need to change my clutch. That's a different video, but I'm not even going to talk about that. But now what I had to do is put on that beauty panel right there onto there, and those are 12 mils, and the bolts are somewhere that I have to find. Oh, right here. Yeah, and you just put those guys back on. I'm gonna show you. Well, you should know, but I'm gonna show you anyway. So all right, so now all I had to do is tighten up these 2 bolts right here, and then just put the wheel on. And again, just to let you guys know, it is a 12 mil for both of them. And then just make sure you put this piece here, that in my case I only got one, because you can tell the rest is destroyed. Yeah, so you just do that, and then you'll be all set. Put the tire back on, jack it back down, check your oil just in case, because you never know, and then start it up, and then you're all good. All right, so now we put the wheel on, and make sure you're tightening the bolt, not loosening it. There we go. Let me get another one. Oh, I messed up. Oh, messed up again. All right, there we go. And tighten it. And boom. Raw video. Elbow station. You gotta buy this tool, 130. Best tool ever. Save your life. And knocks the speed down in half. If you guys asking, oh yeah, you don't supposed to do that. But technically, you don't even supposed to use the damn impact and put it on. But some people be doing that. But it don't have that much torque, so that means it's pretty good. Then, after when it's kind of snug, yes, it is snug, you jack down, obviously, the car, and then get your torque wrench. Don't be just getting your damn impact and just impacting it on like a dumbass. We had to probably put a 5-second pause in that. All right, and then you get your torque, and this one is at 85 foot-pounds, and then you torque it down, and then you will see me get the torque wrench. Now, maybe, it depends, but you will see it tightening one or the other. All right, now it's on the floor, so now you gotta torque down the lug nuts, say 85 foot-pounds. I'm only doing one because it's kind of hard for me to record and torque it at the same time. So you see. There we go. All right, you only guys going to get one. That was mad hard to go and tighten that thing with one hand. All right, so now the wheels are all torqued down, and then everything is good. I'm gonna show you guys when it's running, and then from there just like and subscribe and follow up for more videos in the future.